The sky above the human colony of Aurora 7 burned with strange colors. The colony was a pocket of peace in a dangerous galaxy, but that peace was about to be shattered. From the void, a sleek alien patrol ship descended, its hull shimmering like liquid chrome. Alien soldiers poured out, moving with cold efficiency. Officer Virel, new to this sector, had simple orders. Maintain order, no unnecessary contact. His eyes scanned the playground. He saw shadows moving, and the drone whirring too close. In a startled reflex, his arm shot out. Panic erupted. Adults rushed forward, but they were no match for the soldiers. Virel froze, the horror of his mistake dawning on him. This single act could ignite a fire far larger than himself. News of the incident spread like a shockwave. In the central tower, human leaders gathered, their faces pale. "They will demand justice," said Commander Rao, his voice sharp. "And they will not stop at words." Across the stars, other species whispered about humans. They were known to be fragile, yes, but dangerous when pushed. Myra's mother, Lena, sat by her daughter's side, whispering, "Stay with me. Myra, you are stronger than this." The child was alive, but just barely. Unseen by anyone, a small probe hovered, a silent observer from a faraway system. The Deathworlders were watching. They were a race feared across galaxies, their methods of justice infamous. And now, they had set their eyes on Aurora 7. Varel reported the incident as an accident, but the galaxy didn't see it that way. Rumors twisted into legends. If a Deathworlder chooses judgment, even the stars will tremble. That night, as the colony held a vigil, a message arrived on Virel's console. Not a call, not a warning, just a symbol. A black triangle with a strange glyph. His blood ran cold. The Deathworlders were coming. The fate of a single child was no longer a personal tragedy. It was the spark that could set the galaxy ablaze. Somewhere in the void, a dark, immense ship turned its engines toward the planet. The galaxy had begun to notice the humans, and it would not forget. Far above, the stars watched silently, waiting to see what the humans would do next. The twin suns of Aurora 7 dipped low, casting long, dark streaks across the city. The colony was quiet, an uneasy silence replacing the earlier panic. Humans moved cautiously, glancing skyward, aware that something far worse than the alien patrol could be coming. They didn't have to wait long. From beyond the atmosphere, a ship unlike any other entered the skies. Its hull was as black as the void, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. With no visible engines, it descended with deliberate precision. The Deathworlders had arrived. Inside the ship, tall figures moved with unnatural grace, their jagged armor seeming more grown than built. Their eyes glowed faintly, scanning every detail of the planet below. There was no anger, no panic, only cold calculation. Every movement of the humans and aliens alike was noted, catalogued, and judged. Virel, still shaken from the accident, reported frantically to the Human Council. "They've come. The Deathworlders are here." Commander Rowe's face remained calm, but his mind raced. "Do not panic. They are not here to attack. Yet, but their presence alone is a message." And the message was clear. Humanity's reckoning had begun. The Deathworlders landed silently on the open plains surrounding Aurora 7. Dust swirled around their massive forms, but their movements were precise, almost ceremonial. They carried no visible weapons, yet the threat radiating from them was undeniable. Lena clutched Mira tightly. The child lay in a simple medical pod, still weak, but alive. "Stay strong, Mira," Lena whispered, her own voice trembling. One of the Deathworlders stepped forward. Its voice was low, almost musical, but every word struck like iron. "The balance has been disturbed," it said. "The one who struck the child must answer. Yet judgment is complex." The humans exchanged nervous glances. Complex? What could that mean for a 7-year-old girl's life? Suddenly, the colony's central eye flickered. Screens across Aurora 7 displayed strange symbols, a map of the galaxy with Aurora 7 at its center. Lines connected it to dozens of other systems. Every major race in the galaxy was being alerted. Panic surged again, but Ro raised his hand. Calm. Watch and learn. This is not a simple threat. This is a test. The Deathworlders' leader, a figure named Krith, raised a clawed hand. You humans are fragile, yet dangerous. Your child has become significant. Lena's eyes widened. Significant? She's just a child. Krith's head tilted. Yes, a child. Yet she survives when she should not. That is remarkable. The galaxy will watch what you do next. Commander Ro stepped forward, his voice steady. We will not beg for mercy, but we will not give chaos either. We will find a solution, or we will make you see our strength. The Deathworlders observed silently, their glowing eyes unreadable. As night fell, the twin moons rose, and the humans began to prepare not with weapons, but with plans. Signals, decoys, subtle strategies. Humans adapted. They survived. They inspired caution. The Deathworlders lifted back into the night sky, leaving the colony with a silent warning. Every human knew the next move in this cosmic game would be theirs to decide. Above them, the stars shone cold and distant. Yet, in the hearts of the humans of Aurora 7, a fire was kindling, a fire that even the Deathworlders could sense. The universe will take notice. The stars of the outer rim shimmered coldly as the galactic tribunal convened. Millions of beings from countless worlds floated in orbiting chambers, their forms alien and diverse. All eyes now turned to Aurora 7, the tiny human colony that had dared to draw the attention of the feared Deathworlders. Inside the grand chamber, an alien named Krith stepped forward, presenting a protective stasis pod. Inside was Myra, a human child, alive but fragile. Humans, Krith's deep voice echoed. Your child has become a symbol. A life struck by mistake has now drawn the gaze of the galaxy. Explain yourselves. Commander Ro of Aurora 7 stood tall, facing the weight of thousands of alien eyes. We acted to protect the innocent, he said simply. The child's injury was tragic, but she survives because we are resourceful. We will not beg for mercy, yet we offer the truth of our intentions. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some whispered of human recklessness. Others seemed uneasy at the calm courage of this fragile species. One of the judges, a being with eyes like molten silver, finally spoke. You humans are small. Your technology is limited, yet you face the Deathworlders without panic. Why? Ro's answer was simple, yet it carried immense power. Because we adapt. Because we protect life at all costs. Because courage and intelligence are stronger than fear. A ripple of shock passed through the chamber. No other species had spoken with such confidence. The humans then began a subtle display. Holograms of Aurora 7's defense systems filled the air signal arrays, decoys, drone patrols. It was a strategy designed to protect the colony without aggression. The tribunal watched, fascinated. Humans did not threaten or fight openly. Instead, they demonstrated intellect and a quiet strength. Krith circled the humans, examining them. Interesting, he murmured. Your species is fragile, yet remarkably dangerous. You inspire caution. You are. Unpredictable. Ro met his gaze. We are humans. That is enough. As the session ended, the Deathworlders withdrew their attention, but left a warning. Your actions are noted. Your species is remarkable. Do not squander this opportunity. Back on Aurora 7, Commander Ro turned to his team. We have passed the first challenge, he said quietly, but the galaxy is watching. We must be ready. They began planning again, not for revenge, but for strategy, defense, and honor. Somewhere in the shadows, Krith observed, fascinated. For the first time in centuries, the Deathworlders had met a species that made them pause. A species that could rise without weapons and survive without surrender. For the humans, one truth was now clear. Their small colony had begun to change the rules of the galaxy, one courageous act at a time. Thanks for watching. The twin suns had set, leaving the colony of Aurora 7 cloaked in a pale, eerie twilight. On the surface, the humans worked quietly, repairing the minor damage from the alien patrol and preparing for whatever was coming next. But far above, in the silent, endless void, the true intentions of the beings known as Deathworlders began to unfold. Their leader, Krith, returned to his flagship, a colossal vessel carved from a dark, crystal-like material. Within its halls, secrets older than most galaxies were whispered. The Deathworlders were feared not just for their strength, but for their unwavering ancient code of honor. Every action, no matter how brutal it appeared, followed strict rules. Every judgment was symbolic, never random chaos. A strike against a human child was not taken lightly, but it was not meaningless either. It was a ripple in the cosmic balance, and now humanity had unknowingly stepped into a game older than the stars themselves. Why do they survive? One Deathworlder asked, its voice like stones grinding together. A human child should have fallen, yet she lives. How? Krith's glowing eyes pierced the darkness. Because humans are different. They endure where others break. They adapt where others flee. They inspire a caution we have not felt in millennia. The council murmured, a low rumble of agreement. Humans were unpredictable. Small, fragile, and seemingly weak, yet they possessed a resilience that rivaled seasoned galactic empires. For the first time in centuries, the Deathworlders paused their judgment, studying the humans like scientists observing a dangerous, unknown organism. Back on Aurora 7, the colonists were unaware of these whispers in the void. They focused on what they could control, survival and protection. Engineers reinforced the energy shields. Scouts deployed drones disguised as local wildlife. Even farmers and teachers were brought into strategy sessions, using pure ingenuity to counter a threat beyond their wildest imagination. Varel, the alien officer who had struck the child Mira, watched from the colony's control center. He had expected fear, chaos, and submission. Instead, he saw calm, steely determination. Even those grieving worked tirelessly, planning their defense. He whispered to himself, almost in awe, "They are not weak." Meanwhile, the Deathworlders devised their next move. They weren't planning immediate destruction. They were patient, deliberate, and terrifyingly precise. A symbolic punishment was coming, one that would echo across the galaxy. Krith's eyes glowed brighter. "They will act," he said. "And when they do, they will reveal their true strength." As night deepened on Aurora 7, Mira's eyes opened. She was weak, but alert. Her small hand brushed against the glass of her protective pod, as if sensing the galaxy's unseen attention. To the humans, she was now more than a child. She was a symbol of their resilience, a spark that even the Deathworlders could not extinguish. Commander Rowe gathered his team. "They are patient predators," he said. "They study and observe. But that is our advantage. While they calculate, we adapt. While they plan, we survive. And when the moment comes, we will show them the true strength of humanity." In the void, a subtle message flickered across the Deathworlder communication grid. The child lives. The species survives. Observe closely. The galaxy waited. Humans were no longer just inhabitants of a small colony. They were a force to be measured. The first test had ended. The real challenge was about to begin. Under the pale light of its twin moons, the colony of Aurora 7 slept. The humans believed the danger had passed. They had watched the Deathworlders retreat, meticulously studied their movements, and started to build their defenses. But the galaxy had other plans. Without a sound, without any warning, A colossal vessel materialized at the edge of the atmosphere. Its black hull seemed to swallow the starlight, a silent, floating shadow against the cosmos. The colony felt it before they saw it, an instinctive dread that gripped every heart. The Deathworlders had returned. Inside the ship, the Deathworlder named Krith moved with a chilling purpose. He carried a small, crystal-encased object, a symbolic head representing the human child, Mira. In his culture, the head was the center of life and potential. To present it at the Galactic Assembly was the ultimate act of judgment, a final warning. But the humans didn't understand this complex ritual. They only sensed profound, imminent danger. Commander Rowe watched the sky, his voice steady as he broadcast to the colony. Stay calm. Do not react out of fear. Observe, adapt, survive. Then, the ship released the crystal pod. It descended slowly, casting a faint glow as it landed softly in the central plaza. Holographic projections erupted, filling the air with images of Aurora 7's history, its people, and the child herself. Every alien across the galaxy watching these transmissions would understand. Humans had survived an attack that should have annihilated them. Their species had endured. Lena, the child's mother, rushed toward the pod, her heart a drum against her ribs. It's her. But she's safe, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. And she was. Myra's small eyes blinked behind the crystal barrier. Alive, the act was a symbol, not a threat. Krith's voice, cold and resonant, echoed across the plaza. The child represents more than life. She is proof of your species' resilience, intelligence, and cunning. This is your first lesson. The galaxy notices strength in unexpected forms. The humans watched in a mixture of awe, confusion, and fear. But slowly, a new understanding began to dawn. The Deathworlders weren't just cruel. They were testing, teaching, observing. Commander Rowe stepped forward, his voice firm. We see your message, and we will not be cowed. We will learn, adapt, and show the galaxy what humanity can do. Our choices will define us. The Deathworlders observed in silence, their glowing eyes scanning every detail. Then, as mysteriously as it arrived, the massive vessel lifted back into the void and vanished. The story spread across the stars, a legend known as the head at the galactic feet. Humans had faced a Deathworlder, endured their judgment, and shown a courage that defied all expectations. Even the alien officer who caused the incident watched with newfound respect, muttering, "They are extraordinary." Aurora 7 finally understood. Survival wasn't enough. Humanity's true strength was in their cleverness, their courage, and their unyielding will to rise. Humans were clever, and cleverness often outweighed raw power. Commander Rowe gathered his team in the central control hub. Holograms displayed the Deathworlders' ship, their patrol patterns, and the subtle signs of their constant observation. They think they're testing us, Rowe said, his voice firm. But they underestimate us. They don't understand human adaptability. We will turn their observation into our advantage. The plan was audacious. Using Aurora 7's limited technology, the colonists created a network of decoys, signal traps, and misdirections. Every drone and sensor was repurposed to mimic larger defenses, projecting illusions of fleets and energy shields far stronger than reality. Scientists and engineers developed energy pulses capable of temporarily scrambling alien sensors without harming any life. Every human from medics to farmers contributed. Intelligence and courage were not limited to soldiers. Virel, an alien observer hiding at the colony's edge, whispered in disbelief. They're using strategy instead of strength. Every species I've seen would panic, retreat, or strike blindly. Not them. They are. Brilliant. The Deathworlders returned, gliding silently into orbit. The alien commander, Krith, scanned Aurora 7, searching for signs of compliance or rebellion. What he found instead were patterns that suggested cunning and intelligence beyond his expectations. Suddenly, the colony executed its plan. Blinding energy pulses lit up the sky, confusing the Deathworlders' sensors. Drones projected holographic images of massive fleets approaching from every direction. For a moment, even Krith hesitated. The humans, though small, had made themselves appear formidable. Ro sent a calm, clear transmission. You have observed, you have judged, and now we respond. This is humanity's way: adapt, survive, and show strength without unnecessary destruction. Your message has been received. Our choice is intelligence, courage, and action. Krith's glowing eyes narrowed. These humans did not follow the expected path. They turned fear into opportunity, weakness into power. They were remarkable. The Deathworlders withdrew, this time leaving with a newfound respect. Back on Aurora 7, Mira smiled weakly from her medical pod. The young girl had become a symbol of humanity's ingenuity. Virel turned to Commander Ro. I misjudged you, he said quietly. You are not just survivors, you are innovators. Leaders of the unexpected. Ro nodded. And the galaxy will learn that too. Humanity does not bow. Humanity adapts. Humanity rises. The first true victory was subtle, but it was undeniable. Humanity had turned judgment into triumph. This was only the beginning. The twin suns of Aurora 7 cast a golden glow across the colony. Towers stood repaired, streets were clean, and a quiet sense of celebration filled the air. The trial was over. The dreaded Deathworlders had come to test humanity, and humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed. News of their victory spread like a shockwave across the galaxy. Every species, from traders to warriors, heard the tale of the small human colony that outsmarted one of the most feared races in the cosmos. They didn't just survive. They turned a moment of judgment into a strategic advantage, and in doing so, changed how the universe saw them. Humans were no longer the overlooked newcomers. They were now a species to be respected, admired, and perhaps even feared for their cunning. Inside the command center, Commander Ro faced his team. We didn't win with brute force, he declared, his voice steady. We won with intelligence, adaptability, and courage. We showed the galaxy what humanity is capable of when faced with impossible odds. Even Virel, the alien officer whose mistake had started it all, nodded in agreement. I doubted you, he confessed. I saw only fragility. Now, I see something far stronger. Resilience, strategy, and an unbreakable will to survive. You are extraordinary. Nearby, the child Mira, whose life had become a symbol of their struggle, laughed softly in her mother's arms. Her survival was a testament to the spirit of an entire species, a spark of defiance in the vast darkness of space. On their ship, far above the planet, the Deathworlders watched one last time before vanishing into the void. A final entry was made in their holographic records, Krith's voice echoing with a newfound respect. Humans are different. They endure. They adapt. They inspire caution. The galaxy must take notice. And the galaxy did. The Galactic Tribunal, once dismissive of humanity, now amended interstellar law. Humans were no longer a minor species. They were a force to be reckoned with, capable of shifting the cosmic balance. Life on Aurora 7 returned to a familiar rhythm, but everything had changed. Children played in the fields under the watchful eyes of parents who now understood the true weight of their place in the universe. Humanity had stared into the abyss and emerged stronger, smarter, and more united. As Commander Ro gazed at the horizon, he saw ships from distant systems pausing in orbit, their crews curious observers of this rising power. This is just the beginning, he whispered. The galaxy now knew not to underestimate humans. Their story was only just starting. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey, be sure to subscribe for more.